The pandemic has actually been beneficial for some people. Drunk drivers who are arrested only to have the charges dropped.
A CBS4 investigation found some of the police departments are refusing to give breath tests to suspected drunk drivers. CBS4 investigator Brian Moss live tonight to explain why. Brian?
Jim, these police departments, like the Denver Police Department here, are refusing to give breath tests to suspected drunk drivers. They're saying that the chance of transmitting COVID to their officers and others is simply too great. But the consequence of this is that some judges and hearing officers are dismissing these cases against suspected drunk drivers who are now getting off.
If you were stopped for DUI, Colorado law says police have to offer a blood or breath test. But we've learned some police departments along the Front Range stopped giving breath tests, saying the COVID risk to officers is too great.
Ultimately, because of COVID, some DUI drivers are back on the streets?
Yes, that is just the simple truth.
Denver attorney Danny Leno had a client stopped by Aurora police in October for drunk driving, her second DUI. According to legal documents, she asked for a breath test, but the Aurora officer limited the choice of test to blood, citing the coronavirus pandemic as a basis for not conducting a breath test. Suspect refused the blood test, and in December, a hearings officer dismissed the case. In a second DUI case, a judge dismissed the DUI because police refused to offer a breath test. The state health department issued this guidance to police last March, suggesting the breath test was fine, with cops staying 6 feet from suspects, wearing PPE, and taking other precautions. But Denver Police, Aurora, Jeffco Sheriff, and Colorado Springs Police are all not buying the state health department's endorsement and are refusing to administer breath tests due to COVID, saying it amounts to an extraordinary circumstance.
It's important that we have accountability for individuals that choose to drive while impaired, as well as it's important that we're not unnecessarily or unduly spreading COVID-19.
Basically, the police departments are taking a position that they know more than the Department of Health knows about a public health crisis.
The state health department refused to comment to CBS4. But Jay Tiftiction, an attorney specializing in DUI cases, says courts and hearing officers are split, some dismissing cases for drivers not offered the breath test, others agreeing COVID is an extraordinary circumstance and that breath tests don't have to be offered.
Police officers have to do their job according to the law. And when they don't, cases get thrown out.
Attorneys involved in this process believe that ultimately a higher court will have to decide if these police departments can continue to refuse to give out these breath tests, citing extraordinary circumstances. And while a number of major departments along the Front Range are refusing to do breath tests, a number of other departments told us they are still giving out breath tests. Reporting live from the Denver Police Department, I'm Brian Moss, covering Colorado First.